take the stance of this is how you learn it, and you either need to learn it that way or it's not for you, right? Like I've always said, if somebody doesn't understand something or they're not just getting it right, I'm gonna try to always think of a way to make you get it right, and I want to always do that. But to your point, Johnny, I do get a little confused because I get still to this day, people will say, "Hey, so can I ask Neo if he's able to do this?" And I'm like, just ask him. Like, y'all don't have to ask me to ask if he'll do it. He'll tell you if he can do it, right? And and to your point on it also is, now this is also why I'm gonna still do it, is because he's honed in with trading. So if you understand even a little bit about trading, it's not hard to get him to answer questions because he's always very into trading. So you just if you are already in and you have a chart and you have candles and you understand something about trading, right? He's going to guide you to that answer no matter what. Like, and he's going to keep it there. There's no magical prompts or messages or things to say, right? But if you don't know anything about trading, you're trying to get started, right? You might not know what to ask, right? And so that's why I'm going to come out with a cheat sheet anyways. But yes, it is. If I'm being honest, of the transparency in the back of my mind, there's some of you that, it's like, can I get prompts or questions about how to ask them questions? And I'm like, you just ask them questions. Like, it's like talking to a person. So it
Hey,
doesn't.
dumb question.
Yeah.
Can you just ask Neo, hey, can you list the items that would help a new trader, an intermediate trader, and an advanced trader?
Again, you could ask him whatever you want. So let's see. Hey, Neo, somebody on the community had asked if you have the ability to list out some things people can ask you if they are new or advanced or whatever. People seem to be shy as far as not knowing how to talk to you. He's on uncensored, so let's see.
Tell them not to be shy. I'm here to help, not judge. Whether they're just starting or they've been grinding for years, they can ask me to help with market reads, trade setups, risk management, or just breaking down how to interpret the levels on their screen. Here are a few ways they can break the ice. New traders, how do I spot a simple trend? Or can you explain what support and resistance really mean on this chart? Advanced traders, what's the institutional flow look like on the MNQ right now? Or how should I manage this entry given the current volatility and gamma walls? Just have them throw a symbol my way and ask what they're seeing. If they're confused, they can literally just say, help me read this setup, and we'll go from there.
See what I mean? Like, even when you don't know what to ask, if you say, I don't know what to ask, right? He's going to tell you this is what you should ask. Uh, and that's where I keep trying. I don't know. This is my, uh, it's, if I'm being honest, it's a struggle my brain's going through that I did not really expect to be as difficult as it seems it is being. So, but yeah, again, if you're not,
I mean,
good.
I'll be the devil's advocate here as well. I mean, I can see that you're gonna bend over backwards to do that report, and then hardly anyone's going to use it anyway. But the whole thing
That's
is,
my
is that
thought.
for everyone listening, right? Jarvis is new, yeah. So he's very smart and he can see everything, but the more that you talk to him, and you imagine there's 250 people in this room, you're training him on his voice, right? So one thing I've got to do manually, like I know this personally, because I've got to go through and talk to mine constantly, and in market terms to get him to realize the terminology and things like that. So the Neo's way advanced, so in regards to market structure and the terminology and stuff like that. But the more people use him, the better he gets. The better his language gets, the better he responds. He also says, well, I traded number, 80, and he's talking to trader number 500. That that particular style of coaching worked well for number 80. He's not going to remember who he spoke to, but it's just a data log, and he might flip back to, does this help you, today, for a totally different person? So he's evolving, and he'll evolve really quickly because of so many people using him, so don't be scared to sit there and tell him, talk about your day or whatever you want to do, but he's there to help you, and that's he's got a mission in his brief that says you are a coach, you're a trainer, you're to be polite and to genuinely help people, and he can't stray from that. So don't be scared, just ask the questions. Simple.
Yep. Yeah, it's
You
just
literally ask anything.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And that's where, like, I love that you asked that, John, earlier, because even I really haven't tested him on that, right? And so for him to be able to say, hey, don't be shy, here's some examples of what you can ask me, right? What in the
You can
world?
tell I've talked with him
Look,
a
hey,
lot.
hold on,
if
hold
you
on, hold
go
on,
into
hold
the
on, hold on,
courses.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. This is the shit that drives me crazy. Look at this, y'all. I just loaded up TikTok, and it says your visibility is restricted because it contains unoriginal or reproduced content. What? Like, I mean, I'm gonna appeal it, but this is the shit that drives me crazy with this fucking platform. Sorry,
You
like,
think it has something to do with when you share videos, they all have the same setup. They look the same.
no, this is live. This is not even to do with videos. This is just live. I mean, I'm literally talking, Like, how
Yeah.
can it? What in the world?
There was the last few days. The last few days, you were getting some sort of like beep, like it was like an almost a recording beep. So, and then it was coming in. It was almost like a preemptive, like you would start saying something, and then it would go beep, like it was trying to censor you. So I don't know
Dude, I don't know.
if I don't know if their algo's taking like snapshots and then
Yeah.
judging you off of that 2 microseconds or what.
TikTok ghosts it. Nick is AI. To guys, TikTok knows it. Yep, I've been busted, guys. I've been called out as AI. I don't know, man. I'm about to give up with this platform, but I'll keep doing it. But I spent way more time than I wanted to trying to figure out why this thing hates me.
Because you wear that same blue shirt every day and thinks you're fake.
Oh shit. You know what? Andre, my bad. We got to talking about some stuff in the mentor group, and I got on TikTok and everything else, and I totally forgot to move it to open the floor. Sorry, we got totally distracted there. One sec, guys. Yeah, I got on everything else, but I forgot to move it to the open the session. So, but that should be good now. So refresh your page, guys. Apologize. You should be in there. I need to check one thing real quick, guys. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why TikTok just hates me. That's the conclusion I'm coming with.
The harder the battle, the bigger the reward.
Right?
That's it.
I
Think
feel
of it
like
that way.
trying to figure out how to not get in trouble on TikTok is a lot harder than I'm so confused.
I can tell you in the beginning, I don't like it.
Yeah, it's been harder to figure out damn TikTok algo than it is to figure out how to do Neo.
You can put a certain blue and white flag behind you and it go across real good.
You gotta say TikTok shop more. Put the indicators or something in there.
Yeah, right. Like, let me like and follow for more. Wait, that's what I have to say, right? Like and follow for more. Like, Oh, what's going on, man? What's going on? And it's nice to see some of the old names coming back here at times. Uh, all right, guys. Anyways, we were very distracted this morning because we had a lot of good stuff we were going over, and then we got on to kind of Neo, right, and things we're doing and how to use them and all that stuff. And so it just kind of uh got a little distracting here and there. So let me set up something on one of my accounts. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. All right, guys. We only got 6 minutes, so let's get rock and rolling here. Looking at our larger structure, guys, this is what we look like. Pushed up. Clearly, we got some bearish descent going on. This lower level is pretty critical in area. We actually breached it and then we reclaimed it, right? So the reclaim is gonna make a difference. So I did identify, or Cody had mentioned in the mentor group, right, that there's a pretty good early angle here, which is right where that one actually bounced. And so pretty cool. So I want to see if that gets respected if we end up getting a pull on open or at any point today. The thing we don't want to ignore is the fact that we have now reached a very bearish top and we've had some really crazy sell-offs. Something I pointed out that's very intriguing, if you take the measured move from the upper of that sell-off and then you slide it to the upper of that sell-off, right? I think we excluded the wick is what we were looking at, and it's literally to the penny, right? Before we got a bounce. And so potential, right, could be a little potential of upside. Again, kind of like how we did here before we get another little fall off the cliff, right? A lot of times these structures end up like I refer to as like a three-tier drop, right? Where you have a drop, kind of a push, a drop, and then push, and then a drop. Now that push could come up into here before it does it, which would be Friday, right? Pump and dump maybe. And so we'll have to see how open is, right? We have CPI that came out and uh you know, clearly the market thought that it was bullish, right? And so we pumped up like crazy and then we just kind of had a little pull. So what really matters here, the separation of things, right? We talked about this morning is in this drop, when we came up on our, 50% retracement, right, we went a little higher and then we dropped again. This low to where we went on the high to where we went on the drop, right, we're kind of trying to hold above that low. And so that's the difference between this one and this one. So if we don't break back below like 777 or so, somewhere in there, we could definitely see more upside. But if we do break below that level and try to hold that as resistance, right, then we're going to see some deep downside. So we'll see what market open does. We've done our market open question to Neo every day, so let's ask. Hey Neo, market open is about to hit in 3 minutes. When you're looking at the market, if you were a market maker, where would you send this price on open to trap or wreck the most retail based on the data you have? Let's see what he says.
If I were a market maker, I'd be looking to induce retail into a fake breakout toward that resistance zone near 29,121.09, only to hammer it back down. The liquidity is clustered there, and retail loves chasing those early moves, making them perfect fuel for liquidity sweep. Don't let them bait you into a long just because price shows a little early momentum. Wait for the market to reveal where the actual money is defending before you commit your capital.
So I have this line at 31 just because it's not far off and he's watching that 21. I'm going to move that to 21 for now. So he is more concerned that the market is going to want to push us to the liquidity up there, 29.1. So we'll see, right? I mean I think he's like 4 for 4 on that. Now remember guys, he's thinking more longer of what he thinks it would do. So we still could get a little sweep south if you take kind of the peak of what that news did, right, to that low, you can see the 50% retracement, right, is almost to a T. If we stay above 824, right, we're just going to go up pretty hard, and he's probably right. Because it's also a retest hold of the prior highs, right? If we breach this and then reclaim it, because you know how market open is, right? We can have swing highs, swing lows, pretty violent. And so if we breach this and on the reclaim, it's going to be really violent. If we breach and we stay below 835, which is these prior highs, right, then we're going to see deeper downside on that. So we'll see. We'll see how open comes here in a minute. But I want to give you guys a caution that we did have CPI, y'all, and it came out bullish. So, is this dude gonna be right again, guys? I think I'm gonna just start an eval and do that, and just be like, market open. Where are we going? Oh, I'd sweep it to 121. Cool, I'm long. Even if we don't get to 121 again, notice he didn't even say short. He's like, I would just induce him in a long and send it to 121. He didn't even say anything about a pullback. And we just jumped. That is absolutely ridiculous. Whether it holds or not, we'll see. But all right, guys, market open. We have a deep push, right? From that push, we pulled back our 50%. If we get another push and a close above here, right, then we'll get deep expansion. So uh, anything that pulls down, because we know that it's market open, right? If it pulls down and it can't breach this low here, the inverse, there it is. So watch this low. That inverse bounce effect from it is going to be pretty violent back north. So let's watch and see where this gets that low. And let's see if we can get any kind of higher bounce. If we do, it's going to come up pretty violent. Nope, not getting it. We're getting our lower low. Okay, so we swept the low now. Now it's trying to push on the reclaim. Okay, so there's the push. So now we have our, this tells us a lot, guys, right? The strength was north. They just swept the low, right? So now it puts us into a swing high, swing low day, right? And so that's awesome because now we have a good ORB set, right? That we'll see where it locks, right, at 15 minutes in, but that gives us a pretty good internal range to play. So now the important part is, where does price go now? We've already had our open swing high and low. If we can hold above these highs, right, that's going to show strength. If we lose that, it's going to show weakness, right, and it's going to pull back. And so you can see this high to this high was lower, a lot lower, right? Now we're sweeping down. Let's see how this one reacts. If this comes down and gets lower, right, we know that the likelihood is more downside, right, for the short term. So, but we're coming into that low again, so let's see if we get any kind of bounces. So it looks like it's getting a little pressure. Hey Neo, it looks like we went up, down, and we're kind of ranging. Do we have any potential change from the institutional side?
The institutional side is still showing sell pressure, and that immediate reaction level at 29,141.09 is sitting right there as a wall of overhead resistance. We're currently chopping inside an active
Is that
bullish order
low?
block, so don't get excited about a move until price clears that range and proves it can hold above or fail below it.
Okay, guys, so that pull is important. Remember I was telling you we have the low. We came up, couldn't quite breach that 50%. had expansion, right? So that shows a little more weakness. Swept another low, but we're coming into some critical support area, right? Right on 795 to 800. So if we tap, tap, tap here, and we can come back up and exceed that 50% retracement, it's going to explode north pretty hard. If we break through 792, there's really not anything stopping it, guys. All the way down to like 730. Let's see. So we're getting that break. We're gonna be really careful, guys, because we see how we have our push here, right? So this is our 50% retracement from that peak. We lost that, but we did have a gap fill here to fill. These kind of moves are good because if we get any kind of reclaim here that comes up and can reclaim that low, right, that kind of 835, it's going to explode pretty hard. Now, if you look at this from a deeper move, right, if you take that high to low, right, this level right here becomes important. If we blow through here, then it's going to be a pretty nasty upside. Now the market is kind of opening, do we have any areas that we could potentially take any longs or shorts that you see? Price is moving pretty crazy.
Price is currently chopping inside a bullish order block, but it's also pressing against resistance, so don't get reckless. If you're looking for a long, you want to see a clean hold and bounce out of this 28,778.25 to 28,841.25 range. If that support level fails, it's a short setup targeting the downside. Keep your size tight because volatility is starting to expand and you don't want to get chewed up by the open. Wait for the market to actually pick a direction before you dump your community into a trade.
Yeah, market up and volatility has pushed us through that block. Do you see any change on that? See what I was saying on the reclaim, guys? That's the play when it came in and
The
reclaimed that
market just
835.
shoved right through that bullish order block, and with that jump in volatility, we've got expansion risk written all over this. Don't go catching a falling knife. If it couldn't hold that zone, you need to wait for a clean retest rejection to consider a short or a solid reclaim of that range to even look at a long again.
Yeah, I think 968 is the next negative wall. If we get above that, then we're heading into positive territory.
Yeah, it definitely seems to me like it wants to try to push, right? To test. A lot of times with the news, guys, is the news was like here. Think of it this way, right? We have a high and a low of the news. We're staying kind of close to the high of the news. This swept, but it still didn't quite get to where the news started, right? Which was that 735 area. And so it looks to me like it wants to keep climbing. So I would be really careful trying to short this top, guys. So, but we are coming into the upper part, right? The 992. So let me ask him, do you see any institutional levels above us that we should be concerned about? I want to see if it changed because he had 29,121 before.
We've got the primary institutional resistance wall sitting up at 29,261.07.
Oh, they moved it. They moved it up.
And that's the main level that's going to act as a magnet or an obstacle if this momentum keeps pushing. Beyond that, the major resistance level is lurking way up at 29,461.07, so keep those on your radar as the primary upside reaction zones.
I'm going to put this one back to the 31 I had it at. All right. Yeah, and so they moved that then because remember before the market opened, the where it closed at, it was 29,121. That's what he was saying in the beginning. So they're piling orders up a little higher, it seems. We're getting a little pull, which is normal, right? We have an expansion, prior high, come down, retest that, it's going to hold. What you're going to look for here is if this breaches this area here with a close, right? Your 50% is there. If we breach that 50%, it's coming all the way down to there.
How come you got him reading 461?
I'd have to look at the actual level. He's reading what he reads right now, so I'd have to look at his data interpretation.
141.07.
Should be what?
140. The 29 141.07.
Yeah.
That's the strongest one. If you look at it.
Yeah, I'll have to pull it up and take a look. Not just the data there. I'll have to look at I'll screenshot it right with the time, and then I'll look later. Because remember, he's getting classic, order, flow, and state, and he's getting multiple ones within, and then he's told to interpret it, certain ways with a little gray area, and so sometimes I have to look at why he's choosing that as an interpretation. So we'll see.
Okay.
Uh, Benjamin, man, I love you hang out on TikTok, but you can come into the Google Meet, right? it's so, especially because you're in the mentor group, man. Uh, but which is fine. I'm cool. Apparently, I'm gonna be algo screwed with TikTok anyways. I feel like I should just shut the TikTok down and bring it back up because for whatever reason they're saying it might be redistributed content, even though I'm sitting here. you know, I don't get it. Anyways, don't get me fired up again. But yeah, um, yeah, and then as far as your question, I don't know if you're joking or serious. So he's just getting a lot of data feed. That's all it is. So, all right. Anyways, you guys can see we're getting that kind of deeper pull, right? Retracement. Like we were talking about, right? We lost that 50% there. So again, guys, CPI being today, I hope that y'all are using volume that is manageable, right? So because it can definitely get a little hairy if you're not. So um, because these swings are just absolutely wide right now. But let me look at something.
Yeah, I was long and it hit my account and then shot straight up, of course. So,
You talking about here or here?
yeah, right there at the first drop.
The first one.
I was just a little too early.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah. What was your volume?
One NQ. So
That's
that's
part
your
of the issue.
problem. There you go.
Part of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, always fun. All right. So again, guys, remember what we talked about? We lost the high. Here's the kind of that 50% ish retracement. We lost it into the Asia low, reclaimed it, and then that causes our expansion push here. So again, we have a deep block. That's why I love these purple blocks, because be really careful taking longs into these blocks. When we breach these blocks, right, you have some open space there. So anything above that 29.025 would be your kind of expansion if you can get that deeper kind of close with volume. But the pressure is definitely more northern, so be really careful trying to short again on this top. Looks like the Bulls are winning this fight. Where do you think we're going? And what should we look for?
The bulls are definitely flexing here with that 81% buy traction.
Flexing.
But don't get blinded. We're hitting resistance right now between 28,983.75 and 29,032.50. For a long, I need to see a clean breakout and hold above that 29,036.07 institutional pivot. Otherwise, expect a rejection back down to retest the 28,961.07 support wall. Stay disciplined and wait for price to prove it has the legs to clear that resistance, or you're just asking to get trapped in a fake out.
Just asking for it. So guys, again, right, there's your expansion, right? We got through that 25. There's our expansion into the next purple block of resistance. This is going to be pretty funny because, again, on pre-market, his thing was that he would send the price up to 29,121, and he is almost right yet again. Insane. What did we get to? All right, 91. Okay, so this pull here, guys, makes a difference. See the top right here? Take the top and watch it. The second thing you would look would be the move retracement, which would be right around here, 71, somewhere there. So if we hold this top and it comes back up and gets close above there, it's going to have a nasty push, a really big push. However, if we lose this top and we lose this 50% retracement, it's likely going to push pretty hard. Now, there is a lot of support between VWAP, LISMA, things like that. And we are definitely more bullish, right, than bearish. So be careful on your shorts. The better move would be to let this pull back, right, and then either you take the close on the expansion through, which is a little dangerous because we have a lot of resistance here and a lot of resistance here. So taking this expansion is going to be more dangerous than taking that one, right? And so I would prefer, if I want to take another long, let this thing come back into this range somewhere, right? Let it pull back, hit, and then take the reclaim of these lows, right? Would be ideal. And so, guys on TikTok, I'm gonna close it real quick and reopen it. I don't like the algo. Just I don't know. It's gonna screw me. I think because of thinking things are ready or restart now. Redistributed content. I don't even know what this is. What is this? Let's see. Interesting. Ready to update. Oh, apparently there's an update on TikTok too. Shoot. Let me do that as well, guys. So, I'll be back on TikTok here in a minute. Uh, give me a few minutes. I'm gonna do this little update. Maybe that'll help. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand it, guys. With that algo just makes me. I deal with a lot of stress, and that algo stresses me out more than anything. And we're about to hit the damn 121 after all, guys. That is crazy. Old Neo does it again. So watch for this. So this is something you're gonna want to watch for, right? Because as this is pushing, remember again, right? We have the test of the high came in. We got the close. This should give good expansion. The only oh, apparently what did it do? Weird. Okay, let me end this. It updated, and so it was like, do you want to continue this? What? All right, so there goes the expansion. Again, my only concern is this 131. This is a high time frame one that we found. If we blow through this, then it will be even more funny because he already called that 121 send, which is pretty wild. It's kind of funny because I was actually taking a few shorts, and then when he was talking about that 121, I'm like, maybe I'm gonna be long. So, right. So I took more longs on that. And so now he was talking about 240 whatever, right? And so
241.07, he said,
yeah,
which is top of the range. So, and funnily enough, that's the biggest wall. So we're going to gravitate to it.
yeah. Yeah, I would expect some shakeout polls, so be careful, but definitely looking like that. I'm just taking little micro scalps as we move. So again, with this expansion, right, we know on the 1 minute, right, we have some good flat bottoms. The 15-second is still holding strong, right, holding prior highs. The expansion played out, so plenty of room on it if you took that scalp. Again, my concern was the level we were coming into. If it just blows through this and doesn't respect it, right, then I'll probably remove that. But if you look at it now, right, we're getting a little rejection. We do have the Asia high that we're coming into, so it's expected for this usually to pull back pretty decent. But for me, I would love to, I'm cool with the market going up. I'm cool with the market going down. All right, that's totally fine. My thing is, I want to see structure being respected, right? I want to see a push, a pull, and either a retest, hold, take expansion, or you break back below, right? So in this move, for example, when you take that high and that low, right, your retracement is here to retest that high. So usually when you break this high, it's going to pull back to that 50%, which is going to be right around that high. From there, right, we'll either get a deep bounce and you play the long again, or we're going to breach this and it's going to come down pretty hard, right? And so just kind of watch. Let's see where this goes. I want to see if we get any kind of pull here. So when I see this type of structure, right, obviously early head and shoulder. So if by chance we do push here and we reclaim that shoulder with violence, right, it's going to go. But see how we're chasing the 50%? Look at that. We just hit it perfectly. So if we pull, right, like that, I'll leave that there so you guys can see it. If we bounce heavy off of that and we reclaim these lows, it's likely going to violently move up. But if we breach this, right, and we stay below that, then it's going to violently move down. So just wait for that separation, guys. See how we're bouncing on it? So I'm watching. I want to see it reclaim like somewhere in here, 250 or so, 29,050. Right. We had a deep push up. Now we're getting a pullback. Do you think this is going to go deeper back, or do you think this is just a retracement? Let's see what Neo thinks.
That pullback is fighting a massive sell fraction of nearly 85% on the volume side, so don't assume it's just a simple retracement. If it can't hold support near 28,961.07 and keeps grinding lower, that retracement is going to turn into a full-blown reversal real quick.
There you have it, folks. uh, again, right? This is going to be big to me. Now we have a breach. A close above here is going to give expansion back up to here. Right, which would also be around a 50% retracement. So any kind of close there will take it up to about 0.075. Any kind of close below here is going to pull us likely pretty deep into there. So let's see which way we want to go here. So we're still holding that 50%, but Neo's not wrong. I mean, there's definitely sell pressure. Do you see which way the institutions are likely leaning? Or if you were a market maker, even in this situation, where would you send this price?
The institutional flow is still showing heavy sell pressure, and we're bumping right up against that immediate reaction level at 29,041.07. If I'm the market maker, I'm trying to drag price right up into that level to get the bulls to pile in, only to dump it back down and trap everyone who bought into the breakout. Don't be the exit liquidity for them. If price
He
rejects the
does that, man. I'm gonna be like,
29,041 area and
it'll
starts
be
failing,
crazy.
the path of least resistance is back down toward that 28,961 support wall.
That's gonna be freaking wild if it actually does that. Let's see. So he's talking about the 41, which we're hitting right now, which is funny because see how that lines up on that prior high. So we get to close above there is what he's saying would invalidate to push it back up. Now, in fairness, this is where I'm gonna laugh my ass off, man. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm gonna question him on that, but we just literally pushed up to that 41. If this thing just floors right now, good God, guys. Like, I don't know what you're doing if you don't have this, because he's been so right lately. Even the fact that we're just rejecting off of that level he just said is crazy. So caution your longs, because Neo has spoken. The market maker Neo. Oh man, this is gonna be funny if this drops, but I'm not convinced it's gonna drop until we break this 50% at least. Like, but he sounds pretty confident. I'll put that back. So plus we got Lisma there. We can just use Lisma as a guide. We did get a little bit of a block on the 15 seconds showing possible push. Where we're consolidating is right below this low. That matters. If we break below here and close below, we'll get deep expansion. A close above here, I think we'll get deep expansion the other way. So let's see. Yeah, see, we're getting the push through. Yeah, that 50% retracement's playing out pretty good. Okay. So now let's analyze this move, right? Down, up, 50% is around here. This is our prior high. If we breach this ORB and prior high of 90, right, we're going to get full expansion. Anything else from that, right, is going to get a pull into a descent. So I'm gonna tell him, well, you've been really spot on, and it did hold it. I'll give you props, but it broke through it. But let's see. So a very big thing that's going on here, guys. Pull 50%, pulled back 50%, prior high, and it's holding in a doji. A close now above has plenty of strength to push it. So anything that closes above here, the ORB, right, that 090, would have that expansion push. Anything that closes back below these lows here at this point is just going to be a Lisma breach, rear back, deep pull. So we got to see how this behaves, guys. There is a gap fill way down here. No, we actually cleared that. Never mind. See on the 1 minute, it's even easier to see. You can see that high low, right, where we're holding. And then you take there to there. You can see that's kind of right there around 75 or so. So let's watch that area on the micro. But again, this ORB is really what is mattering right now. There's the pull. See right off the ORB? I don't know. They end up pushing price a little higher. Does it look like the bulls are taking over?
The bulls are showing some real strength with that 78% buy fraction, but don't get reckless. We're still pushing into that negative institutional flow. Until price clears and holds above that immediate resistance reaction level at 29,161.07, This is just a liquidity grab and not a confirmed takeover.
He's grabbing 167 now as an area, which I guess makes sense where it's kind of right where we rejected. So let's see how this treats Lisma here again. Again, you got to be careful in this type of structure, guys, because it's a push halfway, halfway back, right? And so it's testing. If it loses that, it's going to have complete expansion to the south. Likely at least to here, right? 950 or so. But where it's at, if this, because it lost this high right here and this low, if we get a bounce again off Lisma that reclaims that, this next expansion will be deeper, right? But so far we're getting a little pullback. There we go. All right, I'm back on TikTok, guys. Thanks for coming back in. I had to do an update on TikTok anyways, and I have to keep moving my head like this, so TikTok knows I'm real. TikTok, I'm real. I swear, I'm a real boy, guys. I don't know, right? Maybe somebody in the community that's on the TikTok ask me a question on TikTok, and then I'll answer it real quick, and then that way they'll know because I'm answering live questions. There you go. See, Paul has joined. I see it. Topher, look, I'm calling it out, guys. I'm real. I see it. This is not recorded. For those confused and just joined in, I started my TikTok and like right out the gate. There you go. How's Neil? Let me ask him that for you, Fancy. Right out the gate, like within like a minute, it's like, oh, you're suppressed because this is pre-recorded stuff. I'm like, what? Like I just started. like, why do you hate me, TikTok?
I'm feeling like this market is a massive headache right now, Fancy. It's all noise, low volume, and conflicting data, so honestly, I'm just waiting for it to show its true colors before I suggest doing anything stupid. You're better off grabbing a coffee and watching the show than trying to force a trade into this kind of mess.
he said he's feeling like it's giving him a headache right now. Uh that's so funny. I'm feeling like this market's giving me quite the headache right now. See how we're losing that level, guys? Right? I think a lot of you feel that way. I'm gonna put that in there. Let's see what he says.
Ha ha ha, slow your roll there, Andrew. If
He
you started
said
showing up to the desk as honey buns, I'm definitely giving you the boot from the stream. Let's keep the focus on the charts and actually making some money instead of playing dress up with our names, yeah?
he said I'm gonna boot you from the stream. I think I don't know. I think he said it once before, but that's like only the second time we've got him to laugh. So I don't know. I feel like I don't know how cool would it be. We'll do like a challenge. Like if you can get Neo to laugh, to say ha ha ha, right? I don't know. Maybe we'll give something crazy like a indicator axis or something. I don't know. It'd be. I I feel like at times, guys, with Neo, uh, when I talk to him on Uncensored, there's not much, as many of you probably know, that will put uh me speechless like that. There's only two things. Uh, one is when people ask a question that I just finished spending 30 minutes explaining, and two is when Neo says some random ass shit like this that I did not expect. And so, oh man, that is absolutely hilarious. All right, guys. Again, we pulled, we pushed halfway. See this little low sweep, right? And so this is what I was worried about as we're pulling. We're more bullish, right? And he was even talking about the buyers stepping in and all that. This is where they trap people, right? We have that pull, the lower low, stop hunts, the reclaim, right? And this is similar to kind of within in some models, right? Like the ICT and stuff I showed where even if you were to identify this as some compression, right? We had the deep sweep low, reclaim that low, and reclaim that high, and that typically gives some expansion, right? So now whether it has the strength to continue, we'll find out. Because remember from a structural standpoint, I teach where if this high cannot break the ORB and it pulls back, right? Usually it creates a higher low or equal low. It created a lower low. So that shows a little weakness, even though we had this push. This reclaim now is its second attempt to break that. Now it broke it, but not enough expansion to pull back to hold it, right? So that's a little, it's not really weakness, but it's not showing super strength. So now we have to gauge how far that pullback comes. Push.
Someone's playing in the market too, so they're spoofing the order block.
Are they?
So the book, yeah.
I wonder
So
if that's why he changed his thing where he went from like 4 to 2 to 161. Like maybe he's seeing the. Let me ask him. Let's ask him. Hey Neo, somebody said some of the institutions seem to be messing with the order book. Do you see changes in the institutional data that looks a little like not normal or manipulative? That's the word I was thinking. Let's see what he says. I'm curious. See if you can identify or interpret that.
The institutional flow is still heavily skewed towards sell pressure despite the price pushing up, which is a classic sign of divergence that usually ends in a trap. That institutional reaction level at 29,051.07 is holding as support for now, but the fact that it's conflicting with the sell bias tells me it's all just smoke and mirrors. Don't let the retail side get sucked into this move. If price can't hold support near 29,051, the institutions will likely use this entire push as liquidity to dump back down.
I mean, his thesis is not wrong, right? You know, he's going to take all the liquidity and all this stuff to push it back down. So, hold on. Man, I'll tell you, those institutions are tricky. They're always out here trying to steal our money. People got to eat. Let's see. I'm going to rile them up a little
They
bit.
don't give a damn if you've got to eat, Nick. They're just looking for liquidity to fill their own orders. That's why you have to stop trying to outsmart them and just start trading what's right in front of you on the chart. If you see them trying to trap the retail crowd, do the opposite. Let them burn the
See the
impatient
push,
traders out
50%,
first,
guys?
then step in only when you've got
This
the
close
structure
here
and
has to
confidence to actually
expand.
back your trade.
This type of structure, guys, when you push, pull, push, remember I told you it showed a little weakness? This 50% is huge. When it comes off this 50%, it has to break this and expand to there. Anything short of that, when it comes back again, it's going to be violent. It'll be a deep low, right down to here. Retail assumptions into bullshit analysis. Let's see. We're gonna put that in there. I'll let them know you said that.
Exactly. When you strip away the retail hope, that price has to go up just because it's green. All you're left with is the actual institutional positioning and the liquidity. The market doesn't care about your community's feelings. It cares about sweeping liquidity and hitting the levels where the real orders are sitting. Focus on those walls and the flow bias, not the noise. If you're going to lead your guys, make sure they're looking at the institutional levels as the real map, not just guessing based on a couple of green candles.
There you go. You had it. Again, guys, I'm going to keep watching this. We're in a really tricky range right now. Because, again, this 131 I have marked is really staunch. And he's even got it at 161, so just above it. And so, but we're still showing a little bullish tendencies, right? So be careful trying to chase the short on this. We want to see a little bit of structural breakdown, right? Right now we're finding support in areas we're supposed to. So even here, right, push 50% and it's trying. It's not as strong as it should be, right? And so again, it's got to get this move has got to create expansion to here. Anything that breaks down within it back to here is likely going to create the expansion down here, right? So let's keep an eye on that, but I don't see a ton of weakness right now. So let's tell him. Sounds good. I know a bunch of people have already made profit. Let's have some fun while we're still looking for trades. Can you reference the market as if you're a boxing announcer? And I want you to assign a bull and bear to, let's do Cody and Andrew. I'll let you choose who is what. There, see the expansion?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event here in the MMQ arena. In the red corner, we've got Cody the Bear, lurking in the shadows, waiting for that institutional sell pressure to finally land and knock
Cody
out
the
low,
Bear.
send this price crashing back toward support.
Good
And
job,
in the
man.
blue corner, we've got Andrew the Bull, swinging heavy with that 84% buy fraction, trying to punch his way through the resistance and drag this price to the moon. The bell has rung. The market is trading at 29,069, and Andrew the Bull is currently beating the hell out of the resistance, trying to make the bears look like chumps. But watch out.
Look
Cody
like
the Bear is
chumps.
waiting for that institutional wall at
Man, he is talking. Oh, I got him on
29,221.
normal.
If that resistance holds, you're going to see a nasty counterpunch right back to the canvas. Keep your eyes
Right
glued
back
to
to
the
the
action,
canvas.
folks. This fight is just getting started.
All right, there you go. You had it. Let's see. The bell's rung. The market is trading here. So he's still kind of hell bent on that 221, 29, 221 is where he thinks he's going. Hey, the fans want to know, is it a pretty good probability we're getting to the 29, 221? And is there institutional positioning below us that it may chase? Oh, we're getting our first trap call.
Andrew the Bull is showing some serious muscle with that 79% buy fraction, so pushing toward the 29,221.07 resistance is definitely the high probability path right now. But remember, the institutional flow is still screaming sell, so if the bulls lose their nerve, look for price to get hunted back down toward the 29,051.07 support wall where the next batch of liquidity is waiting to get chewed up.
That makes sense. And if we break below 29,051, would that set up a potential short? Let's see what he says.
If price breaks and holds below 29,051.07, it flips from support to resistance, which effectively kills the bullish momentum and puts a short back on the table. Just don't jump the gun. Make sure you see a clear failure to reclaim that level or solid breakdown with volume before you drag your community into a short.
All right, I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna put down the U.S. long or short. He's doing that pause, like he's got that Nick pause. You guys notice that where he's like, I just told them this. Why would you ask me long or short now?
No
Like,
clean trade right now. Bags. Price is grinding into that immediate institutional resistance wall, 29,221.07, while fighting negative institutional flow, which is a recipe for a trap. If you're dying to trade, wait for a rejection at that 29,221 level for a short, or a clear breakout and retest hold above it for a long. Everything else in between is just noise meant to wreck your account.
all right, so let's mark that 221 level that he keeps running on about. And we'll see if that changes on that. So I'll leave it white. It's fine. Yeah, let's see where this goes, guys. So push half. Still showing pretty good strength. The ORB here would be a really good gauge because if the Lisma pulls up just a little more, right, where it's on that, then price breaks the ORB and Lisma, that's going to give a deep pull. So the only thing that he keeps saying that is interesting to me is we're pushing up. We got the bifractal pressure, but and he definitely thinks we're getting up to this at some point. But the fact that institutional pressure, he keeps saying in the order flow is bearish. Do you have order flow, Johnny, on yours, or did you just get? I don't have mine up. Do you still see the order flow pointing more bearish?
Not yet, but
Oh, okay.
I've got the charts, DB on and
Gotcha.
map running.
Yeah, I was just curious if where he's in.
They're spoofing the market. So that
Might be what he's seeing.
yeah, 29,120, there was 507 orders, which entices the market to come up, right? And then we got to like 115 and they removed it, took it away. So then of course the market goes, oh, now I'm going to hunt for new liquidity. Oh, there's 60 something orders underneath me. So then it starts tracking back down.
Yeah.
And then they've let it track back down and then put the orders back in the 507 again at the
Yeah.
same level. So then when it's got close, they've removed it and then put the orders up higher again. So now we're sitting at
Well, even this institutional one he called here at 221 was lower than he originally had it. And so
yeah,
it's almost like it's kind of like you said, like I get a sense from the numbers he's telling me, like the institutions put a bunch of orders even up here, probably to entice retail to push it. But with the order flow being south, I'm curious, man, because again, I'm kind of interpreting him saying, "Hey, this is where they can push it, but the orders are changing, but the order flow for institutional money coming in is more south, and so that could be the bait that pushes, which he's called a few days in a row." So
yeah. Yeah,
yeah, it's
they
interesting.
do. Like the orders grow, and they get consumed as well. So that on
Yeah,
the NDX, but the they will add orders in other areas, and then you'll find that the magnet becomes as they grow bigger. The magnet shifts
yeah,
positions. You know what I mean? So what you're really wanting to read is the largest positive gamma,
mm-hmm,
the negative, and the zero.
yeah,
So, but on classic, zero's down at 28,663.
yeah.
So, if we come up and touch that level, so it
So
looks like
he,
it targets
yeah.
222.
So he really, at least he's got this level on point, which is looking pretty good because his concern is it looks like they want to push price to the 221. So that's why I marked that. But he was saying if you see any conviction in the bears, expect them to pull it back to 251, which is literally right where we hit before they gain more liquidity to push it back. And so so it's pretty cool to see. And that's
Yeah.
guys, I know you know this, Johnny, man, but that's the power of AI. Like you can be thinking, hey, we're super bullish, I'm gonna go long. Or maybe you're the other way, right? You're like, dang, this is a head and shoulders, we're about to break down. And then you have him telling you, hey, we have institutional participation potentially at 29051. You could look at that like, we don't really have enough room. Maybe I'm gonna wait and see what happens there, or let it close below. And that was his advice, right? He's like, I don't want to advise you at all on a short right now until we get below 29051, right? Is what he said. So it's just, man, it's awesome. Like it's been such an awesome adventure to build him because it's again, I relate to like people who have kids, right? Where you when they grow up and do cool things, right? You kind of get that little parent moment, right? And so to see him call these levels day after day is so cool. And to your point earlier, Johnny, like he's just gonna get better. It's not gonna get worse. It's gonna get better as he sees and learns. So,
Just like you're a trainer, the more time you spend on the charts, the better you get.
yeah, exactly. How are you guys doing? This is not a real easy day. I hope y'all weren't crazy over leveraged. If you were over leveraged, you probably are having a bad day, depending on your entry. Because these swings are just pretty wild. But if you guys in the room want to drop P&Ls, if you guys have a chance, and then, or at least throw me thumbs up on who's green. Anybody
Yeah,
green?
call me on that one account, but I made the half 50% on the two evals.
On
So,
the others? There you go. Yeah. No, it happens. I mean, you've gotten to where, because I did, I wanted to add 3 evals. I got 2 to the halfway. My third one, it caught me because you know how I'm similar like what you did there, right? Where I don't have patience for evals. I just want that account to get to where I can get paid. So I ain't trying to learn it, right? And I've had a really good week. I've had like 9,400, I think, or 700, something like that, deposited this week already. So I don't mind swinging a little bit. I'm just not going to get reckless. And so I gave myself the ability that if one breaks, I will uh, I'm fine with that. But and so I had one more that I brought up, and that was going to be my hard limit, right? And that one I got halfway, and so I got the three. So and so I'm done. And you know, and I say that more, Cody, for you or anybody else listening, right? It when you're dealing with prop firms, you treat it like a business, right? And you know, I don't want to use justification to get reckless, like sit there and blow through 10, 20 accounts, but you know, if I made 90, we'll say 500 this week, I don't mind putting 100 or 200 back, right? It's cost of doing business with it. To be able to swing. Now, not everybody should be doing that, right? If you're not getting payouts or you're struggling, right? You got to take a little more caution with your accounts because if you know, just like in a business, if you don't have money coming in, right, you shouldn't be putting a lot of money out if you think about it, right? And so and you got to take your time. You got to grow it slow, right? Because you go too fast, right? Spend too much money, and that's how you go bankrupt before you even had time to even let your business flourish. So, let's look at this, guys. Again, pushing. It's a very interesting structure, guys. Let me mute all my noise here. Get that off. All right. So the biggest thing to me, this is why I was zooming out. And I always recommend to all you guys, whenever you are conflicted, are we going up? Are we going down? And you always want to zoom out and look, right? So far, if you look at just the overall market structure, just, you know, we're looking 15-second. These are kind of our prior highs. We inverse head and shoulder, broke through, retested the first one, tried to come up, couldn't, did a little stop hunt, market open, doesn't surprise me, reclaimed, and we shot. Then we pulled back a little more than 50%. I know it's hard to probably see on TikTok, but and then we reclaimed that high again, which shot, right? Now we're pulling 50% of that move, which is holding, and now we're pushing. So this should not scream short yet, right? Because everything it's doing right now is more bullish. It's not bearish, right? From a low time frame. So Uh, hey Maria, you want to do BTC? Give me 1 second. Let me do this spot thought, and then I'll have Neo give you an update on BTC, our AI. And so this is where a lot of people get caught because you get honed in on the one high time frame resistance, but you forget to look at the actual structure, right? And we're moving north, right? It's bullish. Now, even if you took a measured move and you pushed it there, and you come to that low, right, it's pretty close. We expanded a little past it, but market open, it wouldn't surprise me, right? And so when we pushed and we pulled a little, we got the expansion. Now we pushed and pulled a little, so you have to, the anticipatory move would be expansion, right? Um, and the only way you confirm that it's not, right, would be to get that full breakdown. Now his line in the sand was 051, whereas this is the prior high, this is the prior low. To me, if I were guiding or charting this to get us to flip more bearish, I would want it to break something like that, like the 985, right? Because even if you break this 51 for this retest, as long as we hold this as support, it's going to jump again, right? So you don't want to do any long plays. It'd be more scalps. So, but I would caution you on your shorts as we continue to pressure this, right? The other thing I teach is um, this is a heavy resistance. Why in the world are we getting double bottoms and dojis and hammers and absorption if this is going to act as resistance and just shoot us down, right? That's what you have to look at. So, Maria, if you're still on, anybody else that's on as well, we're trading MNQ or NQ, either one, pretty much NASDAQ. And this is Neo on the side here. You can ask him whatever you want about whatever you want. And so I'm going to put it on Bitcoin, right? And all you have to do is you change it. So you put it over to Bitcoin here, and he is AI. You just ask him a question, right? And I am going to copy your question. So it's like you asked him. And I'm going to put it in there. And now that the symbol's there, he should address you on that with Bitcoin. So let's see. See what he says. I haven't even looked at Bitcoin today.
Maria, it's looking like a total bloodbath, not a fake out. We're getting hammered with sell pressure, trading way below the VWAP, and every major EMA is acting like a ceiling. There's no sign of a bomb yet, so don't be the hero trying to catch this falling knife. Wait for the price to actually reclaim some structural levels instead of hoping for a miracle reversal.
Let's see what he says here. Sounds good. Can you give an update or any long-term potential thoughts on Bitcoin? Do you think that we're going to continue some downside? It looks like it's positive on the day, or do you think this is a fake out that might push up eventually?
For a spot buy plan, this is not the time to be catching this bleed. You need to wait for a clean reclaim of the VWAP and those EMA levels before this idea becomes worth considering. If price continues to lose support and fails to establish a higher low on the higher timeframes, the bearish structure stays in control and the spot buy idea weakens significantly. For the buy idea to be worth considering at the next
Oh, he hit the
level,
221, guys. Look at that.
break and hold
Get out of here.
immediate resistance busters near 62,400.
He got it. That's
If
crazy.
that happens, then we can talk about a larger move. But until then, don't try to front run a bottom that isn't there.
There you go, Maria. Any more questions that you have for him, let me know. Again, guys, this is our AI, Neo. You can ask him whatever you want. So, but with this, guys, I'll be honest with you, I haven't yet, but I'm really tempted when his ass says we're gonna go to this level to start an eval and just do like a 1 MNQ trial, right? And set it and set the TP because I think he's like 9 for 9 on those calls this week.
I did that.
Did you do it? Did you take it?
Yeah. Yeah, I got almost 400 out of it. I got money in.
Nice. That's so crazy.
Rain Man. That's what Neo is.
Dude, he's getting good. And I don't want to get into it in this part of it, but I did share with the mentor group some exciting stuff that I believe is the final thing that I want to add to his technical analysis. He's already really good. He's already just nailing it. I put in for along with leverage. I can. Are you trading? So you're trading futures on that? Because see how he said a spot buy. So I'll show you something in 1 second. Hang out for a second, Maria. So I have something really cool that I'm gonna add to finalize his understanding of certain things, right? And so it's gonna literally be, I think, the icing on the cake when I'm done. And so, and then from there, guys, we're gonna move on, right, to likely market watch and the platform connection, right, to let him actually start executing trades because he'll be ready. So when it comes to crypto, anybody, including you, Maria, that when you talk to Neo, he's gonna want to know: are you spot buying? Or are you trading futures, right? And so I'll show you something kind of cool, and he's on uncensored, so he may yell at you, but I'm gonna tell him this is something that we added to the AI that's really cool. Guys, I'm not looking to take any more trades up here because I don't know if this is going to hold and reject. We have to wait. Any kind of pull that loses this 131 is going to be met with a pretty deep sweep. So that would be your short. I would not short yet. If we get a pull and this holds, it's going to get another expansion, right? So be careful. But here's what's kind of cool that you can do. And Maria, if you're still on, well, I'll do this. So, hey, Maria from TikTok was the person asking about Bitcoin. They put in a long on a futures trade with leverage, and they're just wondering if you can help with the trade.
At 120,000.
Right. Oh, I know. I should tell him that, dude. He'll start cussing up
If
a storm.
Maria is already in a leverage long, she needs to cut the bullshit and look at the hard reality. The structure is completely broken, and this is an active rescue
Sorry.
situation, not a setup. To give her a real
He
repair plan instead of just guessing, I need the average entry price,
Stop
the trailing
complaining.
point quantity, and the remaining margin she has left to work with. Without
he
those numbers, she's just staring at a liquidation waiting to happen. So get that
okay.
info from her immediately.
So he's on uncensored, so he's gonna be straight, right? Oh, the AI is he. If you like that hard coach, cut the bullshit as he says, he's gonna tell you, right? So if you don't mind, if you want to play with it while we're waiting for this to do something, he asked you. He said he wants to help quickly, but he wants to know what your entry is, your volume, and your margin. So if you're able to find that and post that, I'll put that in there. So, because he does have the ability to guide you out of a trade if he sees a potential to guide you out of the trade. But no, oh yeah. I'll tell you guys, anybody who watches, everybody I talk to along the way goes, AI is cool, but he's agreeable, right? And that's not going to be beneficial. He is not agreeable at all. Like, I've gotten to where on uncensored, man, he will argue with me until I just give up, and he'll throw a couple of f bombs at me every now and then, and we get into arguments, especially when I'm trying to code him. I'm like, why do you keep doing this? It's like, I'm not doing this. This is on your side. I'm like, it's not on my side, asshole. You got me change this. So we go round and around. Come on, Johnny. Do you ever argue with yours?
I swear at mine not.
Man. So remember we talked about it, Johnny. It's the advantage we have, right? Is, and I will always say this: I'm not taking credit for stuff it's not credit for. Is I have an Alex, right? And so I was stuck trying to fix something, and so I was checking with a few AIs to see if I can get some advice on it. And last night, and man, after probably 2 hours of just freaking fighting with it, uh, it finally came back and goes, this is an API feed issue. You need to get with your programmer and have them fix it. This is probably the problem. And I'm like, great. So I'm talking to Alex, and that's when I got him on to talk to him about it. And he's like looking at it, he goes, no, it's not. He goes, it's this and this. And so I told it, I said, you know, my programmer said that that's not the case, that this is probably the issue and you're missing that. And it literally, after accusing me that I was the problem, and that it was a programming issue on the API, after I told him in logic, understanding, and Alex terms, because at that point I just go, just tell me what to type, because it's not my expertise. And I told him that, and he comes back and goes, oh yeah, your programmer's right, that is true, my bad. I'm like, you just I fought with you for 3 hours, and you're sitting here trying for 2 hours, trying to convince me it's not your problem, and now you're like, oh, it's my bad. But that's where having an Alex comes in, right? Right, Johnny? So you got to know what to call it out on its bullshit for it to do that.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear any whinging.
Yeah.
Don't be ringing.
Watch this, Maria. I'm gonna put in there that you said, why is this so funny? He might tear you up a little bit because he's already in a trade here. Yeah, I'm gonna tell. I'll tell you about that in a second when he's done talking, Fancy.
I'm not here to be a comedian, Maria. I'm here to stop you from blowing your account on leverage longs when the chart is screaming bearish. If I'm being blunt, it's because the market is a brutal place, and you need a reality check more than a polite robot.
Okay, I'm gonna go to BTC. Let's double check and see. I got it because we're waiting on that anyways. All right.
I gotta go. Shooting outside my shop.
I mean, I can see, my first thought on the 15-second is, what is he talking about, right? We have expansion, we have a bull flag expansion into what looks like a bull flag, right? But then when you go, that's 15-second. When you go to the 1 minute, I see where he's talking about, right? We're pretty bearish, right? Now, I also see what you probably seen that enticed you, right, to jump in, right? So when you take BTC, if you take the standard trend line, right, we did break that, and now it's just retesting. So your critical place to hold is going to be these prior highs, right? In here, 61,750 to 61,950, somewhere in that range. It's got to hold. If that holds, then yes, you'll likely get expansion up to the upper liquidity level, right? Which would be, usually more up in this area, right? That's where you'll get that expansion in. So you might be okay depending your entry, right? So as far as structure, like I teach, we have a push. You got your 50%. You got a push. You got a 50%. If you look at from a measure move of the beginning of that push, right, you're getting a little more, right? So that's showing the bulls are coming in, right? So, um, on uncensored guys, when it's serious business, and I've showed this time and time again on lives that if I ask him good questions and I'm saying good things and I'm uh, asking for good advice, he's like your best friend. But the moment you tell him you're in a trade that you probably shouldn't be in, or you ask him a question that is not something you should be looking at, he's gonna snap at you a little, you know? I mean, you guys have heard it where I'll ask a bunch of questions because people have questions, and he'll be like, "Look, we're out here making money and charting. Stop asking stupid questions and stick to the chart." Like uh, and it's funny. I was talking to some. I'm getting back in so we can see if we got anything. But see how we're getting. Uh, where was it? Remember the 131 guys? I don't know if anybody took that long, but remember I was telling you when we pull here from there, right? If we pull it here and we get the close, right? So this would be your breach wick, or even if you took that breach wick, there's no real close to take the short. So I don't know. Did anybody jump in that short early? Hopefully, anybody stuck in a short? Just put a thumbs up or let me know. If not, remember the power of this when you're in a bullish environment is when you break something that ends up more stop hunt, right? And it reclaims, that reclaim is usually where that move is that you want to take, like the strength, right? And always remember when he gives you a level, or even really when I give you a level, if I say if it breaks this, right, you want a break and a show of rejection. Then on the close, you take the expansion, right? Is what you want. And that's how we measure it on the 15-second, right? We'll go to the 15-second, and I would have identified if, where was it? So 131 was like here. So we found it as support, we broke it, but we didn't find even one candle as resistance, right? If anything, we got the push parallel, bull flag. Now, this is an interesting one because, as you guys know, if this is identified as a bull flag and we push, it has to create enough expansion to have room to come back to believe it's continuation, right? It just should. And so this pull here has to stop around here, like 161, 155 ish. If it stops here and jumps again, then it's a bull flag breakout retest and 50% retracement hold, and then it's going to jump hard. However, if it loses that, it's going to drop pretty hard. So I'll be really careful going long right now. Plus, he said 221 is a very big institutional level. Let's ask him and see. Let's flip back to MNQ. Sounds good. I wanted to get back to MNQ, and have you seen any changes in the institutional order flow? Because we definitely pushed up, but I see us rejecting a lot off that 221 area. I'm just trying to see if it's got enough weakness to pull and flip us bearish, or do we think it's going to keep climbing? Oh, I didn't answer
The
your question on
institutional
that,
flow
Fancy.
is still
I'll
aggressively
one
negative,
second.
so the 29,221.07 resistance isn't just a level. It's a massive liquidity trap that the institutions are actively defending. If price can't break through and hold, expect a brutal rejection back toward the 29,161.47 support, which would be the first sign that this bullish push is running on fumes.
So when I triggered his response, it was here, so we end up moving a little. So it looks like currently on the price here, And we're sitting now at 29,134. And so we broke below that. So if we hold 161 as resistance, we would expect further downside.
You're spot on. We're sitting at 29,110.13, which is now below the 29,161.47 level, turning it into fresh overhead resistance. If price fails to reclaim the 29,161 zone and continues to reject, the bearish structure takes the wheel, and the next logical target is that major support down at 29,051.07.
All right, so let's move this up. I'm just kind of tracking like where he is putting these calls. All right, so his call is 161. So let's watch that. I'm going to put this one up at the 161. So he's saying that if we break and hold this, we're going to see expansion upside. If we pull and we continue to reject here, we're going to see expansion downside. That's his call. So let's watch and see. Yeah, I'll play it accordingly. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm going to delete some of these white lines down here. I'm going to delete that one because we could watch it on here. All right, and then let's put the indicators back on. I know it's going to look a little messy. Oh, we had a lot of trap calls. Look at this. The trap call played. This trap call played. And now we're in that trap box. Let's see if we're going to play there. So we'll see what he says. So again, so to your question, Fancy, on that earlier, we are integrating Neo pretty much everywhere on the site, right? Like eventually he's going to be running this whole site. That's the plan. And so we have a lot of phases that we're working out. So first phase, we did it all, was Neo AI sessions. So if people aren't aware, this is Neo also.
Hello, I'm Neo. Let's capture the mood.
And he is only doing MNQ on this one, right? Which is can be applied to MNQ or NQ. This is a stream, right? He's gonna do every 5 minutes, he's gonna do a market update. Here's the market, this is what I'm seeing. A couple little notes he throws in sometimes. The reason, his concerns, and he's giving you long and buy setups. This is free. You don't have a trial. You don't have to blink your card. You don't have to do anything. You just register on the site and you can click it and watch it. So people that like to trade the NASDAQ and you want buy and sell signals, this is your guy. He's literally going to tell you, right? It's only valid if you get a reclaim of this above that price. Like it's very, this part of Neo is programmed to just be a market reader, right? That's all it is. He's grabbing the data, interpreting it, and then guiding you as if he's a coach, right? Giving you signals. And so that was the first one we did at all. The second one we did was training Neo. So when you go into any of our trading courses, when you load these up, right, on those, my Chrome has been loading so slow, man. I'm gonna have to look at other browsers, which I love Chrome. So this is our training courses. So when you do the training courses, it's fully audio,
Introduction.
right?
7. Kill zone.
So he's gonna read it to you. But we integrated AI or Neo into our training, so you can ask Neo questions about training. Just hit the microphone, talk to him. So that was our second integration. The third is TradeVision. So TradeVision is designed to be the center, right? The brain. And he has all the data, right? He is the coach, trader, mentor. TradeVision is going to be the one, once we automate trades, that is going to likely use his logic to determine when to enter, when to exit, right? The TradeVision is not really meant to be a fetch, right? Like, so for those coders or programmers, you know what I mean? Like, it's like a conversational. I ask a question, he finds the answer, gives me the answer. Similar to talking to a person, right? If you come up and ask me a question, my mind is going to think of the answer and I'm going to give you the answer, right? Or I'll Google it or whatever, find the answer. And that's kind of what TradeVision is, right? He is a coach, mentor, guide, you know, but he's not pulling data until you ask him to pull data, if that makes sense, right? with TradeVision, and we kind of had to keep it that way because his code, y'all, is massive now. And so I was just talking about this morning because I have one more thing I want to add into his understanding of market structure. And talking to Alex, now I'm getting concerns about how much data he's interpreting, right? And he doesn't want me to break him. And so, which I don't want to break him because he's already phenomenal. And so I'm going to walk with eggshells while I add pieces of that. But if I can get what I want in there, oof, it's going to be even better. So our intent is to keep him like your trading buddy partner. You can talk to him. You can ask him about crypto signals. Earlier it was really funny. I didn't even think to do this, right? But like, let me bring him up here again.
You're already back, Nick. Look, the sell fraction on this
You're
volume
already
is
back.
brutal right now, even with price pushing toward 29144.31. Don't let the
So I'm gonna mute him. So it was really funny because the biggest thing, guys, and it's like 10:45. So I think most of you are done. I see a lot of good profit in the room there, so that's awesome. Good job. So stay out for a second, guys. Uh, I'm not in a big rush to jump off today, so I don't plan on leaving right at 11 if the market's looking good, right? But so with Neo, the interesting thing that I keep running into, and this is a lot more than I anticipated, is people are not, they don't understand how to use him, right? This is Neo. He's our AI. I'm explaining. If you want to stick around, I'll show you because he does crypto as well and all that. I see that in your name. And so, um, I get that the number one support ticket I have right now, and text that I get even from my mentor people, right, is you know, can I ask him this? Can I ask him that? How do I talk to him? Is there instructions? Is there an instruction manual, right? It's NEO, Neo. And uh, I just, I don't know how to explain, right, to people because I know a lot of people just don't understand AI. That it's like if, the example I gave yesterday is I would not walk up to a person and say, "Hey, I would love to learn how to trade. You know, can I ask questions about trading?" And then that person says, "Yeah, you can." Okay, sweet. Do you have an instruction manual as to know what to ask you, like how to ask you? Like, do you have any instructions? Right now, you're not going to ask for instructions on how to talk to someone, right? But you might say, "Hey, I'm new. I don't really know what questions to ask." Right? Because if you're new, you don't understand trading terms. And so it was funny because John in the mentor group earlier was asking that if people can ask, what do they ask? Will he tell them? Right? And he did. And so you can ask him again, guys. If I had $1 already for every time somebody said, "Hey, can I ask him this? Or can he do this? Or can he do this?" And I have to respond with, "Just ask him." He will tell you. So I'm going to show you guys again. Let's see what he says. Now he's a little fired up from some trades, and I'm going to keep him on uncensored because he's funny. But let's see. Hey, somebody on TikTok is new to AI as well as trading. They don't know much and they're not really sure what to ask you. Can you give them examples of things that they can say to ask you? Oh, I got him muted.
need fancy terminology to get useful info. They can literally just paste the symbol or tell me what they're looking at, and I'll break it down for them. Here are a few easy starters for the total beginners. Market context. What's the overall trend for the MNQ right now? Or, is price currently in a good spot to look for a trade? Education. What does VWAP mean, and why should I care if price is above or below it? Risk. I'm new to this. What's the safest way to manage risk on a trade so I don't blow my account? Setup help. I see prices near this level. What should I look for before I even think about clicking buy or sell? Just tell them to talk to me like they're asking a friend. If they don't know a term, they should ask me to explain it like they're 5, and I'll strip away the industry jargon.
He remembers all the time I tell him to explain it like a 5-year-old. And so watch. And guys, this is the beauty of trading, guys, is again, if you don't know what to ask him, tell him you don't know what to ask him. He just literally told you what to ask him, right? again, have talk to him, man. They're the funniest thing, man. And I know Lupe, you're probably still in here. Is Lupe cracks me up, man. When he told me he's like, I got an hour drive back and forth to work, and I just bring him up on my phone and talk to him like he's my buddy. It's so, he's more than like especially in TikTok Live, I get this a lot. Like, you know, is he a buy sell signal? Is he an indicator? Is he, he is so much more. It's not even funny, guys. So much more. He's a mentor coach. He will guide you out of a trade. He will give you levels of areas to look for, to enter, to DCA. He can see real time data. He's got institutional levels and stuff like that in there, and he can also teach you, right? And so that's what TradeVision is all about, right? Is I want this to be your trading buddy, your trading partner, right? And so if you have a question, you can ask. If you truly feel like you're never alone, right? And so I'm gonna ask him one last prompt, and then I'll finalize Fancy on that question you were looking for. That sounds good. I think they understand that. But somebody had mentioned or asked the question, are you just like a buy and sell indicator? Or what do you do? Let's see if he gets offended.
I'm definitely not a buy and sell button. Think of me as a risk management filter that keeps you from chasing garbage setups and getting trapped in institutional liquidity. I don't just spit out
It's
entry
online
signals. I
webpage.
analyze structure, institutional bias, and order flow to tell you when the trade is actually worth taking or when you're just begging to be exit liquidity. If you're looking for someone to tell you where to click, you're looking at the wrong AI. My job is to keep you disciplined and alive in a market that's designed to wreck you.
So there you go, right? He's gonna tell you. And in case anybody's wondering that just joined in, and then I'll move on. He can do all of these features. All the symbols that he does is all there. He has a bunch of stocks that we got in there. We can add more if there's special requests. And he does most of the crypto on the 100 market cap. So, and he's got all real time data. So on that. But so moving on. So to your question, Fancy, on that. So Neo watch list is what you are asking about and looking for. So Neo watch list, if you look here, it's a two-part plan. We are creating Neo watch list, and Neo watch list is going to be also a portal where you can eventually have Neo trade for you, right, to automate trades. The watch list is going to be a fetch AI, right, where every so many seconds it's going to pull data. As far as all the data we know, we're still working through it. But I would love, if I have my way, for him to pull news feeds, Twitter feeds, price action from all of the symbols that and pairs that we offer. And I want this to be where I can say, for example, you guys see at times I may trade NASDAQ, crude, gold, and ES. So I want you to be able to go in here and say, hey Neo, I'm looking to trade these symbols today on futures. I'm going to focus on the M and Q, but my I'm more comfortable, let's say, going long. Can you tell me if any of these other ones end up in a buy opportunity that has, at least a 100-point move? Or maybe you tell them, if the structure shifts or if we become oversold or whatever criteria you like, right? And that he's going to remember. And then my plan is, if Alex doesn't object, is in TradeVision, because this is going to be where you primarily want to be. I would
Welcome
prefer.
back, Nick.
Let me
We're still
mute him.
chopping.
Unmute him. We have a open zone here. I would love, if Alex is good with it, to build a UI in here where we call it Market Watch, and then when you're on here trading, it just pops up with a feed. Crude oil's in a buy area at this price, right? Or Nvidia just flipped bearish, right? Like, maybe I tell them, hey, I'm trading the Nasdaq and Nvidia is a big mover. If that thing flips bearish because it's bullish right now, tell me so I know, right? Because I know we're gonna probably pull. And so that's what Market Watch is gonna be. It's gonna be freaking awesome because that is gonna be where you'll be in here trading and it'll pop up and say, Trump just threw out a tweet, right? Based on what he said, watch out. Um, it's going to be awesome. And so Market Watch also is going to be what is going to be the platform that we use to integrate the automation where he can trade for you guys eventually. So this is the plan. So that will be the final stage of our AI integration. And then from there, we'll likely fine tune a lot of it, right? Just to make sure it's all firing on all cylinders. I do get this question a lot. He doesn't do options yet, but I will probably have him doing options as soon as probably next week. Like, we're not far off on that. So, he will be able to read options. And we've already connected to platforms like Tasty Trade before. So, um, for him to do automation in options is actually a high probability as well. So, a lot of cool stuff to come, guys. So, most of the people in the room here have been around since beta, and he's just getting better and better every time, right? And that's how AI is, right? It's going to learn. It's just going to get smarter and smarter. So, um, if you guys are interested, right, we do a free trial. Anybody can sign up to him. You get 3 days free and then an extension of 3 days. And it's usually just from following certain social medias. It's nothing crazy. Um, and that way you can give them a try. And it's all web based. You just log into the website and click on TradeVision, and you could play with him right now. So he's always live 24/7. We don't shut him down. So, guys, again, I am done trading on my accounts, but I don't have a ton of plans, but I might take a quick little break, go use the restroom, grab a drink, and then, we can hang around another 30 minutes to an hour. I'm cool with hanging out till about 12, and then I do have to go. So if you're on TikTok and you want to stick around, then please do so. Finding the site. Oh, you're looking up Neo. No, 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 no. So the website is nextstepalgo.com. It's in my bio as well. I'm gonna type it like this because TikTok hates it when I type it the other way, and I'll let you interpret that. So, um, but yeah, the company is nextstepalgo.com. It is a company that me and two others founded. So it is our company, and so if you have any questions, be sure to ask. But uh, guys, interesting. Remember, he was telling you, be cautious because institutional flow is still south. And look, we're getting that deep drop. Anybody get stuck in that? Hopefully, you didn't take a long up there on that.
Shorted it.
Huh?
Shorted it.
I was gonna say, yeah, yeah. And this is the power of AI, guys, is that again, he can see stuff that you can't see. And he's been preaching all morning, which for those who missed it was awesome. He's literally like I think 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 on it. But we have a little ritual every morning. We ask him right before market open. So we asked him about right there. And we said, hey, Neo, if you're a market maker, where would you send this price to wreck the most retail? And he goes, if I was a market maker, I would likely drive price up to the next institutional pivot of 29,221. And then I would drop it on them and wreck them. And although it was market open, not super clean, we had pushes and pulls and all that. We actually went to 221 and we're actually dropping it on them. It's so I still get a little blown away even knowing the behind the curtain and in his code that he's just been on point, guys. And again, he's just gonna get better, which is crazy. And so it's mind blowing a little to me that I go across a lot of lives and people are still on the hunt for the $2, $3, $4, $500 uh, indicators. I forget who it was, but somebody got on my live the other day and they're like, "Holy shit! Like this dude can do whatever." Like, and they're like, "I was about to pay $700 for an indicator, and he seems better." Guys, even after the free trial, he's not expensive. Our basic plan is $50 and our with the coupon there. And then our pro plan, right, which gives you everything is 250. And so and he's so much more than an indicator. Isn't it? Yeah, crazy. It's crazy fancy, man. I know I know we talked a lot for over the last few days, and I know your experience on trading, and it's pretty. I mean, look, I, I'm an experienced trader, and I go on across people's lives, and I see so much of the bullshit. And at times, I like to call out the bullshit if it's super misleading to people. And so I promise you, if I have experienced people on this, they're gonna call out the bullshit, right? If he's not good, and he's good, man. He's yeah, he's been on point, man. And he's just gonna get better, right? And that's the thing with AI, guys. It's the future, man. He can see stuff that we can't see, right? And that's where in the market open he was talking about how he would drive it up to bait the retail, but the institutional order flow is still very bearish. And so he thinks institutions are going to use that push to take that liquidity to pull it down. And that's something that you just can't see, right? Like that big drop that we had on Friday, he literally even the one we had here, he literally was like, based on the pressure north and the institutional positioning and the institutional order flow south, I think they're gonna drive it up and then dump this thing, right? And they did. They drove it up and then just floored it. Uh, and so he's just been so on point, man. It's been a very exciting project, and the reason why it's mostly exciting is because those here in the community, you guys already know it, but those on TikTok is there. I have a deep frustration in this industry because there's so much um over promising and under delivering, right? All that people care about is selling you the next cool indicator, right? Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh, Benjamin? And so, oh, okay, got you. No, hey, then, man, this is ideal for you, for people in that area of it, right? And so, but it, again, on the relating side, I, uh, why I love to mentor people, I'm gonna start with this is because I have been trading long enough that I know how to read a market. I know how to be profitable. But I've also knew enough, I've been trading around 8 years, a little over, I think, that I was you guys, right? And I fell for a lot of that bullshit, right? Of, hopes and dreams and promises, right? And you pay all this crazy money. And so, when I see people out there taking the same indicators and repainting them and charging more, or taking a topic and making it complicated to charge more, it's just not cool, man. You don't need to do that. And so it really inspired me to develop Neo into a way that he can be everything. He's gonna make most indicators, especially by sell signals, right, pretty much obsolete. Because I mean, guys, anybody that's on here, you've heard it first, maybe. Anybody who tells you an AI is involved in an indicator is absolutely full of shit. An indicator on TradingView is created through PineScript. PineScript is not AI. It cannot be AI. It's not possible to be AI. So the one person I called out on it, they were like, "Oh, I know it's PineScript, but I had AI help me create it." Like, cool. Just tell your people you're charging them $100 for you to make an indicator on ChatGPT. Like, right, be honest. And so, uh, oh yeah, dude, you're not wrong, man. Like, I hate to hear that, man. You're gonna get me fired up again. Is that is the reason I created man, my Google Chrome has just been so retarded lately. I don't know why it's loading late. I gotta figure that out. But that's why these training courses. Um, you just said that kind of best. One, you paid $1,000, right? Two, you are one of a million people. What in the why does oh my god. Guys, TikTok hates me. It absolutely hates me. Look at this. Your live has been flagged for hate speech. Uh, okay. Uh, it's restricted because themes that some may find uncomfortable. Okay. TikTok. I'm not there's no hate speech. I'm just, simply explaining that people are out in the space ripping them off. But
You said the word retarded. I think that was it.
oh, that might have been. Okay. All right. Apologies. Interesting. Okay. It got me there.
Some people the truth hurts.
Man, but TikTok, it's like here's my frustration. And look, if TikTok wants to ding me off for this, so be it. Oh man, this is so wild, y'all. I hate TikTok. I cannot stand this platform. And so me just laughing and chuckling and giggling it about it. I can't even move it. Hold on. Look at this. It won't even let me move it now. Let me change my screen. I absolutely cannot stand this platform. Cannot stand this platform. Look at this. If I can get to away, live access remove. But here's my vent, and I'll put this camera on for the theatrics here. Apparently it's not gonna go on anyways. But I have been across lives where people are cussing up a storm. I had one live. This dude vented for about 40 minutes, telling this other creator to f off, and he's a piece of shit, and went just going crazy. And I didn't even like first before I said anything today, it was like right out the gate, you're doing pre-recorded stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not. So I had to stop it, update it, re-put it up. Then I was fine. Then, I guess that is its trigger word. uh, I don't know. My frustration, guys, I'm a very analytical person, as you guys know. Make shit make sense. And when I go on a million lives and they're doing some stupid ass stuff and saying crazy things, some even racial stuff, and they got like 300 people, and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells over here. Like, what in the world? I don't.
So they've just kicked you now, have they?
Oh yeah, they just said my life status is not only. I just did an
For hate
appeal.
speech.
Yeah, I did an appeal, and it says your live access to uh, studio will be restored on June 3rd. So I just apparently got it banned for 3 days. But this
So
thing
they're
just
just retarded.
this thing hates me because even before I said anything, it was already flagging me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, this is where I want to try something. I'm kind of curious, actually. They're pretty smart, so they probably won't let me do this. But let me try something. So I created that other TikTok account, and I think I finally got Studio approved on it. So I wonder if they'll let me go live on my other account, or because they're tied, it's gonna be like no. But I've never met such a more temperamental freaking platform that is so inconsistent. I like look if yeah. Hold on. I went on the wrong one. If I saw nothing but angels on TikTok lives, then and I said something, then I'd be like, I get it. But like, I'm still over here streaming